Welcome back to the Larson Show. It's a pleasure to be with you on a Tuesday. We're live from the Hoover Institution on the Stanford University campus, and we are still supplying honestly provocative talk radio to the United States of America. And always glad to welcome back to the program our good friend Frank Gaffney, the founder and the president of the Center for Security Policy in Washington, D.C. Frank, welcome back to the program.
Lars, I've got a confession.
What's that?
I have been promoted to the role of executive chairman of the Center for Security Policy. But other than that, everything's good.
Well, then we're going to change your title. Executive Chairman of the Center for Security
has its
Policy.
Privileges.
Do you know there has been another promotion that came apparently about the same time as your promotion, and that's Jim Mattis, otherwise known as Mad Dog Mattis, Marine, former Defense Secretary. You know where he's going?
I don't.
He's coming to Hoover. He's coming back to his old job at Hoover. So, unfortunately, he's not coming back till May, so we don't get a chance to talk to him on this trip, but maybe next trip.
Terrific.
Yeah, he's going to be great. And I understand that people come and go from presidential administrations. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about my business for a second. What the heck is going on at Fox News, and what does it mean for America?
I'm not entirely sure, Lars, but for some time there have been reports that with the elevation of Rupert Murdoch's sons to senior management positions and his own role receding somewhat, that the kind of, I won't say exactly his commitment to conservatism, but the calculation that was where the money was for Fox, which I tend to think was really what was animating old Rupert rather than, his red-blooded conservative values, that's a thing of the past. And that the boys are looking for, ways to perhaps simply sell the property off. And as a result, the kind of commitment for sure that Roger Ailes brought to their conservative line is a thing of the past. And what we've seen is pressure being brought to bear, some of it from outside, the hard left, Islamists that form what we call the red-green axis are part of the campaign. Focused in part on the network management itself, focused in part on advertisers, but they're going after the handful of rock-ribbed conservatives that the network has, given prominent roles to in
like Tucker,
either recent years or over time. Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, Laura Ingraham, and most especially Judge Jeanine Pirro. And what we saw in the aftermath of a terrific opening monologue that Jeanine Pirro gave on her program Justice with Judge Jeanine on the 9th of March, in the course of which she went after Representative Ilhan Omar as not only an anti-Semite, but also as somebody who may have come to anti-Semitism through what you and I have talked about many times on this program. I call it Sharia supremacism. And she pointed out that she wears a hijab, and a hijab usually is a symbol of someone's adherence to Sharia. And she pointed out, Judge Jeanine did, in a question, could Representative Omar's wearing of a hijab bespeak a commitment to Sharia in her case? And more to the point, observing that Sharia is incompatible with the Constitution of the United States. Well, the proverbial excrement hit the proverbial fan, and Judge Jeanine was both condemned explicitly by the network management and apparently has been put in what I call the penalty box for perhaps 2 weeks. I hope that's all it is. The first week is last weekend. She was not on the air. We'll see what happens next week. But there is an outpouring of support for her, not only because people love Jeanine Pirro. She is a friend of mine, I think of yours. She's a fabulous public servant in the past and now a great spokesperson for conservative values on her program. But also for what she said, which was absolutely true. and needs to be said. And as she said in response to the condemnation from the network, I want to encourage a debate about Sharia and about what those like, I call her Mullan Omar, has been trying to do to bring Sharia to our country. She hailing from Somalia, others from elsewhere, but they have in mind doing what they believe Allah wants everyone in the world to do, namely submit to Sharia. We need a debate about that, and we need Judge Jeanine back on the air. I hope your listeners will join me in sending hashtag Fox News a note calling for Judge Jeanine to be reinstated as soon as possible, ideally next weekend, and allow that debate, which we desperately need as a nation, to go forward.
You know, my concern, because I saw this action too, with them removing Judge Jeanine off officially for a couple of weeks in the penalty box, as you say, and I think that's a good way to describe it, and then theoretically coming back in a couple of weeks. But the threat is clearly there. Get out of line again, and you may be gone forever. And in the meantime, we're bringing on Donna Brazil, who joins a number of folks like Shepard Smith, who is Shep Smith's a regular anchor on there, but he tilts far to the left, and then you bring on Brazil as a contributor, and you start to see the entire network going another direction. And to me, it makes no sense, because Fox staked out its territory by saying nobody else in America has a network that actually speaks to conservative concerns while being fair and balanced. We've got MSNBC, we've got CNN, we've got PBS, and we've got and ABC, NBC, CBS. They're all on the left. We have nothing on the right, and now, the two Murdoch boys are leaving us with nothing on the right.
Right. Well, and Paul Ryan is joining the board of Fox News. That's not a good sign either. And here's the thing, Lars, you're so right. And the worrying bit is that not only that Jeanine Pirro is being put on notice, but everybody else is. Every host, every, guest for that matter on Fox News is now having notice served that if they have the temerity to connect the dots for the American people between Sharia and that Islamic totalitarian doctrines, plans for all of us, plans for freedom of speech, plans for freedom of religion, plans for our constitutional form of government, plans for America, they risk being remanded to, the Neverland of not being on Fox News air. I only hope that if this continues to unravel as it is, that organizations, I was on OAN today, they will step up, they will find audiences, and others perhaps will come along. But America's Republicans, most especially Americans conservatives, need and deserve a media outlet of their own on television, and if it's not going to be